crisis, because nobody knew if the vice president simply acted as president or actually became the president. But John Tyler settled things pretty fast when he boldly declared, "I'm the president now," and everyone just kind of went along with it, making Tyler the first vice president to assume the presidency after a president's death. But it wasn't just VPs who found their way into the Oval Office, because James Polk was the first and only Speaker of the House to become president. But funny enough, that wasn't really why he got elected. Polk also happened to be the first dark horse candidate, a guy nobody expected to win. He was up against the frontrunner Martin Van Buren, and it looked like a long shot. But Polk had one thing working for him: manifest destiny, because he promised to annex Texas, claim Oregon, and stretch America's borders farther than ever. A bold vision that fired up voters and let him pull off the upset, paving the way for this next president, who was about as unconventional as they come, because Zachary Taylor was the first president with no prior elected office, no time in Congress, no stint as governor, not even a town council seat. He was a career general, famous for his victories in the Mexican-American War, and voters loved the idea of a straight-shooting general who can march the nation forward. Until he died in the office from a bad batch of cherries washed in contaminated DC water. I'll be sticking with apples from now on. But this made Millard Fillmore the president, and the first to initiate trade with Japan. Cause in 1852, he dispatched Commodore Matthew Perry across the Pacific to talk trade. No, not that Matthew Perry. And even though Japan lived in isolation from the world for nearly 220 years, Perry's mission worked, because they agreed to open their ports to American ships. Nice to meet you, fellas. Want to try some apple pie? But this next president is the first guy that just had to be different, because Franklin Pierce was the first president to affirm the oath of office instead of swearing it. Really, dude? Well, as a devout Episcopalian, Pierce felt uncomfortable swearing, so he went with, "I do solemnly affirm." And then he doubled down on being one of a kind, because Pierce also became the first president to deliver his entire inaugural address from memory. No notes, no script, just staring straight into the crowd like, "Yeah, I got this." And then there's good old James Buchanan, the first and only president to be a lifelong bachelor. He never married, never had a first lady, and is the only guy to do it solo. And normally, voters like their presidents to be family men. But in the 1850s, the country was tearing apart over slavery, and the people just wanted stability. Unfortunately, Buchanan whiffed at that too, setting the stage for Abraham Lincoln, the first president with a full beard. Cause during his 1860 campaign, an 11-year-old girl encouraged him to grow one, believing